It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Tennessee bonus hour of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, original all-star panelist Crom Carmichael. Welcome, Crom.
Greetings, Michael.
So there I was Saturday night, just sitting down, getting ready to watch the Texas A&M football game, which turned out to be a pretty interesting game. And I get this text from our friend Steve Bannon, and it's a link to a story by a fellow by named Hugo Lowell, and it said, some Trump advisors had thought in recent days that Kash Patel wouldn't get the FBI director job because he might struggle with the Senate confirmation and would get deputy director instead. But Stephen Bannon and his allies appear to have gotten their way with a bruising Senate fight to come. I said, what? So it turns out, Trump had nominated Kash Patel, who, by the way, is first rate and has been a guest on this program.
Yes. Well, I think the Kash Patel is a great choice if you think that Washington has become a swamp, because which I believe it has become a swamp, and I think that the only choice that he's made so far that raises my eyebrows is the labor secretary.
Yeah.
I like the other picks, and I think Kash Patel he may have a difficult may have the hearings, but when you've got 53 Republican senators, you have now. By the way, there's some Democrats. My understanding is that Trump is not asking the FBI to do any background checks because he doesn't trust them, which I think is well placed. It's his lack of trust is well placed.
So Steve Bannon, as I'm checking this out, texted me that night, ready for a fight.
Yeah!
Exclamation point. I said, and this is Leahy Bannon lingo.
Okay.
All right. To which I responded, dude. Oh. He likes to use the term dude.
Okay.
So,
okay. All right.
So I say, Kash Patel can release the Covenant Killer Manifesto when confirmed. Let's fight. We're all in.
Yeah.
That was this way. Well, Bannon said, let's go. Okay, so back to Kash Patel.
Yes.
In December of last year, he was interviewed by Glenn Beck. And he said at that time, wait for it, that the director of the FBI should release all 1,000 pages of the Covenant Killer Manifesto. Here we go.
Oh.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's.
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school. We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts.
Yeah, and Kash is spot on. We know that afternoon of the shooting, March 27th, 2023, when 28-year-old Audrey Elizabeth Hale walked into her old Covenant Elementary School and murdered 3 9-year-olds and 3 staff members. That afternoon, when the Metro Nashville Police Department went to her residence where she lived with her parents, they were accompanied by an FBI investigator.
Okay.
And the FBI investigator started taking some of these documents as well. And you can see it in the inventory list from that time.
Okay.
Now, you had a very interesting reaction
to Kash Patel's.
Yeah.
Well, his appointment is, I think, an excellent one, but the reaction of the left to his appointment is revealing to me, because in their world, Kash Patel should be a great choice. Why? He is the first man of color to be director of the FBI. Is that correct?
Indian.
Has there been an Indian who is, or even a man of color, a director of the FBI? I don't think so. So this would be a first. He'd certainly be the first Indian.
Yeah.
And when I say Indian American, he doesn't consider himself to be that, but they do. But the left does.
Interesting. His father, there's an interesting story about this. His father is a doctor.
Yeah. Okay.
And came over. I think his father came over from India and
Okay.
built his practice from scratch. Also, apparently owned a motel.
Okay.
They lived apparently at some time near the family of Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, okay.
And as kids, they used to play outside the
All right.
motels that he bought.
Okay.
How about that?
Well, there you go. But I mean, but the left is apoplectic over his nomination, and so it's revealing that it's a little bit like when the left says all women should be believed, until a conservative woman says something, in which case, because she's a conservative woman, she's actually in their minds not a woman, and therefore whether or not she's believable should be open to question. In the case of Kash Patel, he will be the first, quote, Indian American, for lack of a better term, to be director of the FBI, and according to the left, being the first of anything, when you get the appointment, should be lifted up and praised.
The word of the day is apoplectic.
You know, that's my word. Yeah, yeah.
Apoplectic.
Now, the word of the day right now for the left, what's the word they're using now? They love to use it. It's the L word. Loyalist.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Kash Patel is a loyalist.
Now, let us take...
I mean, it's so amusing to me
Yeah.
when the left is caught being hypocritical, which is now so often.
Are they suggesting that the best cabinet appointment is someone who is disloyal to the president?
I suppose that what they like to say is the person needs to be independent. Why? The FBI is part of the executive branch. The president is head of the executive branch. The president answers to the people as a person who was elected to that position. The Department of Justice is part of the executive branch. If Trump wanted to, I would assume, I don't know this to be true, but as the head of the executive branch, I think he's allowed to reorganize how the executive branch reports.
To some degree, some of these cabinet departments are in fact established via statute. So therefore, there might be a little bit of a challenge there.
Well, they may be established as a statute, but how they're organized, I still believe, is left to the person who is head of the executive branch. We have three different branches, as you know. So my question to you is, if the president chose to elevate the director of the FBI to report directly to the president, could the president do that?
That's a very good point.
Thank you.
And
same thing with the IRS. Could the IRS right now is part of the Department of the Treasury? I mean, certainly if the president says to the director of the Treasury, I want to have a meeting and I want you to bring the director of the FBI, a director of the IRS with you, the director of the IRS would attend.
So I think you make a good point, and I think that there might be some statutory prohibitions to this, but might not. So, for instance, the Secret Service should report directly to the president. Right now, it used to be in Treasury.
It still is.
No.
Oh, no. Where is it now?
Homeland Security.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Ah,
Yeah, I know.
that's even crazier.
You're shocked. You're
Yeah,
shocked.
I am. Yeah.
I know. So FEMA should be a direct report. Really? It seems to me. IRS should be a direct report. Those are all very interesting ideas. You get to a span of control issue, but maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Right? There are 12 cabinet level reports.
Yeah, but none of them are independent, is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
None of them should be acting independently from the
They're
president.
part of the executive
They are
branch,
part of the executive branch.
which is headed by the president.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
When we come back, pardon me.
Oh.
Pardon my son. Back after this. He's Crum Carmichael. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, original All-Star panelist Carmichael. There's gambling in Casablanca.
Oh, my God.
I'm shocked.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Yes.
Okay, so predictably, Joe Biden lied about not pardoning his son.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the night, last night, he announced, I'm pardoning him for everything he ever may have done in the past 10 years and 11 months. And I'm also going to sub-Saharan Africa tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. As a legal matter, has any president ever issued a blanket pardon without enumerating the crimes, the crimes or alleged crimes?
In other words, what he said is, if he's done anything illegal from January 1st, 2014 until today,
right? Whether I know about it or not.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone has been given such a broad pardon.
Right. Right. Now, what's interesting is this. Now, Hunter Biden cannot, but let's assume for purpose of discussion, he cannot be prosecuted for any of the crimes.
Correct.
That he's been pardoned for. Okay.
Any crime that he committed between January 1st, 2014
right.
and December 1st, 2024.
Okay, but he can be called to testify before Congress.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
So could he then be asked to list all the crimes that he has been pardoned for?
Yes.
that he's received a pardon.
Would you like to know how he'll respond to those?
Please.
He will take the Fifth Amendment.
He can't.
Yes, he can.
Then the committee that is can waive that. Give him immunity.
So
they can give him immunity.
Here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Abby Lowell is his attorney.
Yeah, but he's just Abby Lowell. He's just an attorney. He's a good one, but he's not God.
I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to explain to you what's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Because I'm doing my Mike Stradamus.
Okay, Mike Stradamus here. All right.
Of course, the Congress would want to have him come in and testify about all the crimes he got pardoned for, particularly what's going on in what happened in Ukraine, and how much money his dad got. His lawyer will tell him to take the Fifth, and the counsel on the House Oversight Committee or Judiciary Committee is going to say, you know what, you can't take the Fifth. We won't accept it. If you don't answer our questions, you're in contempt of Congress. To which you'll say, that's fine. I still take the Fifth.
Okay.
So then Congress will go to
refer it to
the Justice Department, which will prosecute him.
Okay.
He'll be convicted. He'll spend 4 months in prison.
Okay.
He knows that.
Okay.
And he's thinking 4 months is a lot better than 20 years.
He can be called again.
Right. They'll just cycle him through prison.
Yeah, I mean, they'll call him again.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
And if you're Hunter Biden, I mean,
Now that's if they choose to, but here's the thing that's interesting to me. The Wall Street Journal, has written a column, more or less saying, and this in their editorial, saying enough is enough. We must stop this back and forth. Well, it hadn't been back and forth. It's only been forth or back, but it hadn't been back and forth.
You're exactly right.
And so the question, the fundamental question for me is, if somebody commits lawfare, an abuse of power, let's call it that, an abuse of power, which I do believe abusing your power is against the law, is it not? If it can be proven that you abused your position to attack a citizen.
I don't think there's a federal law called abusing your power. There is wrongful prosecution under color of law.
Okay.
For instance.
All right. Then let's use the correct legal definition. For purpose of this discussion, I'm going to just put it under the category of abuse of power. And just say that there's a law that says there are bound to be laws on the books. I mean, the Nifong, when he wrongfully prosecuted the Duke lacrosse players, when he had evidence,
the district attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, when he had evidence that showed
he had exculpatory evidence.
Yeah, that he did not reveal. Well, not only did he not give it to the defense, he knew because of the exculpatory evidence that at least some of the lacrosse players that he was trying to convict were innocent. He knew they were innocent because there was a camera that showed them in a location that was different from the fraternity house at the time of the alleged incident.
Right.
Okay, and so he then lost his law license. I think he was thrown out of office. And did he serve some time?
For obstruction of justice. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
6 months.
So now the question is, should the people who have conducted the lawfare or the abuse of power, should they be held to account? Even to the point where you say, if you will admit your guilt, you'll not be sentenced, but you must resign from your office and forfeit your pension. But you will not be sentenced to prison.
You're such a kind and generous prosecutor.
But what I'm saying is that I want an admission of guilt that's public. And then I want some financial penalty, so that other people won't engage in this activity, because I think it's very, very harmful to our body politic, and this includes all the folks engaged in the court cases against Trump in New York. It would include them also, because they abuse their power. Alvin Bragg. Letitia James,
Judge Mershon, Attorney General Letitia James.
Yeah,
in New York.
I don't know if she was. Is she technically part of the prosecution? Or was it just Alvin Bragg?
Not of the felony conviction.
Okay, but she was of the other one the trumped up charges on lying on
Fraud.
his financial statement.
Yeah.
Which is when you single a person out.
Selective prosecution.
Selective prosecution is a form of abuse of power, and so at any rate, I think it'll be interesting, and I think Kash Patel and Pam Bondi have both during interviews have said that people who abuse their power wrongfully should be held to account.
I've got something
And
here.
exactly what that means is open for interpretation, but I don't think anybody. I mean, Nancy Pelosi says no one is above the law.
I've got something here that just was tweeted out by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me just read this to get your reaction.
Please.
The FBI did not raid Hunter Biden's bedroom. They raided Steve Bannon's bedroom. Just think about that.
Yeah.
That's how morally corrupt all of these people are.
Right.
Joe did not pardon Hunter because he is a father who loved his son, like the Mockingbird media and Democrat liars are saying. Joe pardoned Hunter all the way back to 2014 when Hunter started biolabs in Ukraine, started with Burisma, and began money laundering through dozens of LLC shell companies through business deals in many foreign countries, including China. Hunter is not just Joe's son, he's his business partner, and Hunter sold his dad's power and influence for millions while Joe was vice president and beyond.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that is an accurate statement. But the thing is, Michael, that the people in the media, they know all that.
Regime media.
Yeah, the regime media. Yeah,
because we're things are changing dramatically.
They are.
There's more podcast. There's more alternative media. It's fragmented, but you got podcasts. You got Joe Rogan. You got X, formerly Twitter. You got TikTok, which is kind of weird because TikTok has the problem. Although Jeffrey Yass, the guy out of the billionaire out of Philadelphia, owns like 15% of it, and he's a big Trump guy. You still got all of the data.
Is he a yes man?
Very good.
I didn't. By the way,
we haven't lost the cornball edge.
Yeah, that is news to me. I did not know that there was a billionaire that owned 15% by that name. So anyway, I think that's
he told Trump, "Don't ban TikTok. Let's take it all American." And as it turned out,
and if it's all American, it serves a great purpose.
As it turned out, TikTok was a key element in the media strategy of Donald Trump, and it helped.
Yep.
So things change. Dramatically.
Yeah, and I think the regime, let's call it the regime media, because that encompasses all of the folks who actively participated in trying to smear Trump and promote either Biden or Harris as legitimate, honest, intelligent people, and so you have the regime media now that is on its heels, and they seem to me, Michael, to be getting more dug in. I mean, they're not learning anything from their mistakes. They seem to be doubling down, and as I was driving in, you were talking about Jen Psaki getting a gig at MSNBC and
a couple years ago.
Yeah, but the French lady might not, Jean-Pierre, might not have that opportunity. Jean-Pierre is a spokesperson for the president. If the president tells her, "I'm not going to pardon my son," even if she doesn't believe him, doesn't she have to go out and say, he has said he's not going to pardon?
She either has to resign.
Yeah.
Because she knew he was lying.
Well,
she knew it.
But she can still claim that's what he said. I'm not trying to defend her. Her everything
else.
Well,
she will claim.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to defend everything else that she has said. She knows that but Jen Psaki knew that she was representing, as the press secretary, a president who regularly lied.
I haven't seen her comment.
Didn't bother her at all.
Well, they have no moral compass.
They have none, but they are well paid to keep their compass pointing the direction it is pointing.
We'll be back with more after this. He's Crom Carmichael. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. to say a few words about our friends at the Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road. The Nashville Pizza Company in Franklin reminds us that the current economic times have been tough on many families in our area, and many are finding it hard to make ends meet. Your donations of clothing or canned goods can make a difference for a family in need. During this holiday season, give from the heart so others can have a new start. That's courtesy of our friends at Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road in Franklin. They are always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it. Believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed
This
by
summer,
Donald
never
Trump.
leave pets in vehicles while running errands. Even with windows cracked, 80 degrees can shoot up to 120 degrees, causing heat stroke, dehydration, and even death. So keep pets hydrated, shaded in cool areas, or just leave them at home. That's from Kathy, Candy, and the staff at Mutts Cuts Grooming, the people with warm hearts for those with cold noses. For your pet's grooming needs, call 931-645-9220. That's 931-645-9220 for Mutts Cuts Grooming in Clarksville, Tennessee at 1479 Tiny Town Road.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of The Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Original All-Star panelist Crom Carmichael is here in studio with us. Crom, in the not-so-recent past, there used to be a big national retailer called Kmart. Right?
Yeah.
In the not-so-recent past.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were famous for having announcements made on the PA to all shoppers.
And what was it called?
Well, here's what my point on all this is, that right now, American foreign policy is going to get a Kmart announcement. Attention shoppers, cleanup of American foreign policy on aisles 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to, well, every aisle we have.
Yeah. Boy.
Crom?
That's called the Blue Light Special, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Thank
what
you.
Kmart called them. They're blue,
Yeah.
the Blue Light Specials. The policies that Biden is leaving are just they're I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, and it goes to Biden is, as I've said for 4 years, Biden is a grifter. And so as a grifter, everything he thinks about is, well, I can buy them off, because a grifter thinks everybody else is a grifter also. And by the way, grifters come to believe that what they are doing is not only right but moral. And so consequently, that mindset, it means you're going to pick people who kind of think like that. And so Biden thought, for example, that if he gave Iran everything Iran wanted, that Iran would be a good international partner.
He thought Iran was run by grifters, but it's not.
But it's not. It's run by
hardcore Islamist terrorists.
Yeah, and so when he gave them money, he upset the balance of power in the Middle East, created all kinds of problems that will take years to resolve. But Trump will do two things, in my opinion, when he gets into office. One is he will go back and put all the sanctions back on Iran that was on Iran before. But here's the big difference. China's domestic economy is at this point is very, very weak. And if Trump threatens China with tariffs, if China does not stop buying oil from Iran, China will heed what Trump is saying, and he'll say, "And if I catch you, China's about to find out from Trump that there are a lot of things that they're doing that are bad, that they're not going to be allowed to do, and saying that they're not doing them and still doing them will not work for them."
And Crom, let's just talk a little bit about,
because their economy is.
Let's talk about Donald Trump Unleashed.
Yeah.
See, Donald Trump is a deal guy. He's a common sense guy. He's a deal guy. His first term, he was constrained by all of this lawfare, and frankly, Crom, had he been reelected, had they not cheated,
right,
and won, quote, won the election in 2020, they would have constrained him in the second term, second consecutive term.
He is.
This is why everything that has happened since the assassination attempt on July 13th, 2024, that failed, is providential.
Well, you could even argue the 2020 election was providential.
You could.
You could.
You could. But so what it has allowed, there's this famous meme now that our buddy Elon Musk has put out. It's an X-ray of somebody's brain.
Okay.
And it's got one sign where a bullet pierces the back of somebody's brain, and the headline is World War III, and another where the bullet just pierces the ear of somebody, and he says Mars.
Okay.
I think this is the providential nature of it. After everything that happened after July 13th, 2024, was to bring unity to the United States of America from everybody but the hardcore left nutcases.
Yeah.
And MSNBC, but I repeat myself.
Yeah.
But so you get Elon Musk taking his all-in approach, the guy who sought risks, the guy who was willing to put it all on the line. He put it all on the line when he put up $150 million of his own money to do the Get Out the Vote PAC.
Well, the first thing he did was put up billions of his own money to buy Twitter.
That was 2 years ago. Yeah.
I know that, but that was the first thing he did.
I agree.
That changed the dynamic.
It did change the dynamic.
And there was nothing the left could do about it. Nothing.
Well, they're trying to do something with it. There's this thing called Blue Sky. Have you seen this?
What's that?
Blue Sky is a pale version of Twitter.
I mean, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. They're trying to come up with a competitive platform.
But meanwhile,
but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because what happened with Twitter was it went from about 70-30 liberal to conservative. And by the way, it wasn't 30 conservative because only 30% of the tweets were conservative. It's that Twitter would regularly suppress or cancel.
Right.
And
they stopped all that.
And they stopped all that, and so now it's about 50-50.
By the way, just as an aside, you are an avid reader of books, particularly in history.
Yes.
So I picked one up over the weekend.
Oh.
Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk.
Oh, I own it. I have not read it. I could only take it and put it next to my head like Karnak. Johnny Carson used to do, where he would read a book by putting it next to an envelope.
You got to read it with the caveat
okay.
that Walter Isaacson is, the head of the regime thinking.
Isaacson is a
good writer.
I'm reading his book now on Einstein.
Oh, yeah,
and I interrupted 2 or 3 books that I'm reading to read this book that's a historical novel called Fall of the Giants.
Oh, yeah, Ken Follett.
It was Ken Follett, and it's
another good writer.
Yes.
Another lefty.
But it's historical fiction, and I think he does because it's about World War I. But I don't want to digress here. Let me get back to what we were talking about, and that is the foreign policy that Biden is leading Trump with. Biden is saying that this proves that what Trump is doing is correct, because Biden says that Trump's tariffs would be counterproductive, and so anything that Biden says is counterproductive is productive. You can just count on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what Trump is doing is he's using tariffs to make the Prime Minister, if that's his position, Trudeau, of Canada, act responsibly. And it takes hitting him in the head with a 2x4 to get him to act. That's metaphoric, please. To get him
metaphor, folks.
Yeah,
metaphor.
Metaphor alert.
Metaphor alert.
Yeah,
metaphor
yeah.
alert.
To-
It's a blue lake metaphor alert.
Yeah, there you go. To get his attention. And the same thing is true with the president of Mexico. Now, the president of Mexico is in a bit of a different spot because Mexico is getting to be very close to being a narco state.
Yes.
The cartels down there are so powerful that her hands may be tied, but I don't think they are yet. Plus, I also think that if she told Trump the cartels have I can't fight the cartels alone, I think that Trump would help her.
Oh, I think absolutely.
Yeah. And so Trump is going to use tariffs wisely with Canada. He's going to use them wisely with Mexico, and I think he's going to use them wisely with China. But what's also the other mess in the world right now is the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that, but that now the Islamists have actually are now trying to take down Bashar Assad's regime in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bashar Assad is a bad guy.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit like Hillary Clinton when she was all thrilled when the Islamists took out Gaddafi and in Libya, and what resulted was chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Gaddafi was a bad guy, but there was a certain level of stability. So sometimes bad guys are not as terrible as the alternative.
Yeah, sometimes.
And so this gets into the area.
There are badder guys to replace the bad guys.
Yes, and
right?
so this gets in, or no guys, in which case you have just chaos and just wanton terrorism. And so Iran is behind what's going on in Syria right now. Iran is behind the Houthis. Iran is behind Hezbollah.
The Houthis are in Yemen.
They're in Yemen. And so Iran is doing everything it can to foment violence in the Middle East. And now the world has pretty much at least agreed that Iran is the source of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be very interesting to me to see how Trump approaches all this Middle Eastern problems.
So I've got some news for you.
Please.
He has appointed a special envoy.
Tell me.
His daughter Tiffany's father-in-law is the special envoy. Now remember, his father-in-law played a big role when he went to his father-in-law's Arab American. Her father-in-law's Arab American. He played a big role when Trump went up to Dearborn, Michigan, and got the endorsement of the.
Well, Jared Kushner was involved also, which is a fascinating combination of people. Jared Kushner was involved in the Abraham Accords, was he not?
In the first administration.
I'm talking in the first administration.
So what you've got is, here's Trump. Trump has trust in his daughter's father-in-law.
Yeah.
He has trust in the people that he's appointing.
Yeah.
He knows them.
Yeah.
At a very basic level.
And here's what's interesting. I mean, in the Muslim world, you have what I would think is a relatively small percentage of people who are diehard Islamists.
I've seen estimates maybe it's 10%.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that
you're talking about what, 3 billion people?
That is, well, I think there's 1.6 billion Muslims.
Got it.
So 10%.
Oh, you're talking about 160 million.
If it were that big, I don't think it's that big.
Maybe
but
not.
let's just say it's 2%. If it's 2%, it's still measured in the millions. And if Islamists are willing to use terror in order to get their way,
which they are,
which they do, but now you get into, Michael, it may be that it's down to a few 100,000. And it may be if you take away all of their financial support, it may be that they are no longer capable of creating chaos. at least at the level that they have done in the last 4 years. And so it is, and that's where it is my hope that Arabs who want peace and live in civil societies, which I think is the vast majority of both Arabs and Muslims. In fact, even Persians. I think that Iran is controlled by maybe 1 or 2% of their population, and everybody else, everybody else is devoid of news, but hates their circumstances. And so I think that this could be a very interesting 4 years. In the foreign, I'm talking about now strictly in the foreign policy,
Everything
in the foreign policy space, because Trump also can put enormous pressure on Russia to do the right thing, and part of what I think the ultimate agreement will be.
What's the right thing?
Well, to not be belligerent the way they are, but
to not create World War III.
Right, but what I'm saying is this: Putin made it very clear in July of whatever year it was, a few years ago, when he gave a major speech. Don't invite Ukraine to be part of
and
NATO.
You can understand that.
Yeah, you can. You absolutely can.
It's their neighbors.
Yes.
And Crom?
Yeah.
Guess what? It's time for news potpourri.
Wait, don't we have a we have a commercial, don't we?
We have a commercial.
Good.
Right now.
Because I've got to get my
you got to
news
get
potpourri
prepared.
in order. Got to
get
it
plenty.
in order.
We'll be back with more after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul
bone
Tea
and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthyCell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. It's that time of day again, Carmichael. It's time for News Potpourri.
Yes, Michael. It's that time of the program for little tidbits that merit the attention of our audience, but not an entire segment and have a touch of
irony.
Yes, yes, yes.
I got one for you right away. This is
please.
breaking news.
Ooh.
So, the pardon was issued late last night.
Yes.
Joe said, there won't be no more briefings. I'm going to Africa tonight.
Right.
And so on the plane this morning, angry reporters confronted Corinne Jean-Pierre for all of her lies. And we got the audio right now, direct from Air Force One. Here we go.
President-elect Trump has likened this to the case of the so-called January 6thers, the people who are imprisoned because of their role in January 6th. What do you think of that argument? And do you think that that's a fair parallel, that he believes he shouldn't think?
Today I'm going to talk about the pardon. We've been very clear about January 6th. The president has been clear about that. He's spoken to that many times before. What we believe in this particular case is what is unprecedented is the way that his son was singled out.
Golly day. That is just priceless.
She is such a liar.
Well, no, look, Michael, these people on the left believe themselves. They do. It's absolutely astounding. This is an interesting one. This is the headline here from the Wall Street Journal on an article, British Labour meets the Laffer curve. It turns out, I'm going to just read the first sentence and then talk more about what the headline is. British Chancellor of the Exchange, Rachel Reeves, is under fire for allegedly padding her resume to say that she was an economist at Halifax Bank of Scotland when she was in fact only a junior banker. Now, by the way, that's a pretty big difference if you've been named head of the exchange. But using her junior banker's knowledge, she's increasing the taxes in Great Britain, so where the government will be taking 42.4% of gross domestic product by 2030.
They are beyond stupid, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
they really are. Stupid.
There is always a tipping point where something really terrible happens once you get past that point, and I think sometime in the next 24 months there'll be a real reckoning. By the way, the problem for the British voters is they don't have anybody to turn to, because the so-called Conservative Party there was as bad, almost as bad as these people. So as
they do actually have somebody to turn to.
Who?
Nigel Farage.
And I hope they do.
They will.
If they do, then they.
It's called the Reform Party now.
Well, it'll be.
He's a member of Parliament.
Yeah.
He won.
Well,
I got one for you.
Please.
We talked about MSNBC.
Yes.
They are now saying that Joe Biden should issue a preemptive pardon to himself.
Pardon himself also.
Yes. I told you, pardon me.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, well.
Well, what's the over-under on the date he pardons his brother, Jim Biden?
Yeah, he'll
pardon. And himself. And he'll pardon Jill, too.
All of his family members.
Every family member
that got part of the money.
It'll be like January 19th at midnight.
It really would be quite something.
But he'll pardon every family member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For anything they might have done.
And himself.
Yeah, anything.
For 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. This is a headline from PJ Media. Donald Trump's transition team is planning for all political appointees to receive sweeping security clearances on the first day and only face FBI background checks after the incoming administration takes over the bureau, which I think is entirely
right.
Entirely
By the way,
appropriate.
Christopher Wray is saying, he's got a 10-year term. He was appointed by Trump in 2017. It's been terrible. He's apparently said, "Well, I'm sticking around."
Now he'll be fired, and he.
No, I'm telling you, which is Christopher. Bad move. They're gonna frog march you out of the FBI building.
That's right. They'll remove him physically.
He will physically be removed.
Yeah.
And it's a bad look, Christopher. But that's the level of arrogance they have.
Right.
And the president has a right to do it. And he's going to do it.
Absolutely.
He's going to fire his you-know-what.
That's right, yeah. This one is a fascinating story from BizPac Review. Headline, New Jersey town bans American flag from council meetings. What happened was a citizen came into the council meeting to address the council and held up a small American flag, and they said, your time is up. You cannot do that. Have him removed. And the police removed a person who simply, and then claiming that bringing the American flag or a copy of the Constitution to our meetings as props will no longer be allowed. So here's some people who've not gotten the memo of the last election. This is an interesting one. Canada has all kinds of problems now that you can lay at the feet of Justin Trudeau because he's been such an airhead prime minister, but the people have elected him, so I guess you get what you vote for. But they had the North Atlantic Treaty Organization met in Montreal from November 22nd to 25th in Montreal, and Justin Trudeau decided he'd go attend a Taylor Swift concert one night instead of being at the NATO meeting, and a whole bunch of protesters, hundreds of them showed up and created all kinds of violence in and around the facility where NATO was being held. And so Justin Trudeau is, then he flew down to Mar-a-Lago to try to convince Trump. I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that meeting because Trump made it very clear.
Actually,
you'll get 25% tariffs if you don't close.
That meeting was a dinner meeting.
Okay.
And they have a picture.
I know
of Trump sitting next to Trudeau.
Yeah, but I don't think that's
also at that meeting, our buddy Doug Burgum, Secretary of Interior, nominee.
Yeah.
And the new Dave McCormick, the new senator-elect from Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, that was who was pictured at the table. What was said in the meeting, I don't believe, was also said at the table, not in the same strong terms that my guess is the private meeting. They had it, and so Trudeau is going to actually be forced to act like an adult for the first time that he's been prime minister.
By the way, we don't have time to play this audio, but also from that Air Force One interview, Karine Jean-Pierre said that Biden wasn't lying when he promised not to pardon Hunter.
Right. He didn't. I'm just. I'm saying this is how they
we got
roll.
Time for one more.
And then this is interesting. There's a new FAFSA, which is the form that people financial aid form, and all it's supposed to be is for financial aid. They've got 41 different blanks in there to fill out about race. So what this is a collection of data.
Yeah.
On people who are merely trying to go to college, and it needs to be the next Secretary of Education needs to destroy all of this.
Last point. The New York Times failed to put on its front page Biden's pardon of his son. And on that note, Crom, thanks for joining us
You
today.
betcha. You bet.
We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. I hope you have a great day. Up next, Rob Carson. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. This is Michael Patrick Leahy. I want to say a word about my good friend Dustin Damon. Dustin is the best handyman in Middle Tennessee. Call Dustin today at 724-683-4400. That's 724-683-4400 if you have a job around the house that you just haven't gotten around to. If you're busy like me, you just may not have the time to fix that broken mailbox, repair the back porch, or get that old light fixture back to working properly. Do what I did. Call Dustin Damon today at 724-683-4400, and he will bring his truck and tools to your house and get that job done lickety-split. Dustin's main service area is Williamson County and the southern part of Davidson County. So call Dustin Damon, the best handyman in Middle Tennessee today, at 724-683-4400. Tell him you heard about him on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. The Chief Team reminds listeners here that more and more veterans will be returning home over the next few years, and many are local. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills, but they also need jobs too. That's why the Chief Team is encouraging all local businesses. Let's make it the year we hire smart and hire veterans. That's from the Chief Team, where they say service isn't just a courtesy, it's a commitment. For more information, call 931-444-3572. That's 931-444-3572 for the Chief Team in Clarksville.
The Black preaching tradition is deeply connected to gospel music.
PBS presents a new series hosted by Henry Louis Gates Jr., Gospel.
Our singers preach and our preachers sing.
Gospel is a prayer. It is our heart's cry to God in lyrics and song.
You feel it deep down in your soul.
Gospel. Streaming now on the PBS app.